How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews. Back with a little bit of Fidens up in this piece. The form of their Palm IPA. 7.2%. Citron Eldorado hopped IPA. No date. Oh, there is a date on the can. I missed these. These are from 908. So about 3 weeks old. And these comes courtesy of my boy Corey. First time Fidens here. My buddy Kyle from the Hype Beer Reviews. He has done a couple of their beers and speaks quite highly of them. He brought some to Beer Palooza. I was not there to partake. I know my buddy Joe from Joe's Arcade out there on the West Coast gets to hook up on these every now and then, and he's quite a fan. So I'm kind of curious to see how this one plays off. Label-wise, very nondescript. Nothing is a gradient with a shadow on it, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So 7.2%, big old hazy, and it absolutely, without a doubt, looks big. Old hazy. I mean, it is turbid. That is, I don't even want to call it turkey gravy because of how dense it is. It kind of besmirches the density of turkey gravy at that point, or turkey gravy would do this dirty. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's thick. It's dark. Barely any light is getting through this thing, and it just comes off as a rich, huge, gigantic, dense kind of IPA. Just big beer. 3/4 pinky finger. Pretty uniform bubble strap. A little straggler neuroticness going on. And just that core is just goddamn. Soup, son. Let's get a nose. That's just like hops. Just dry hop tops and hops. It's so dense. And this is the part where I'll kind of reserve judgment for the actual taste. It doesn't come off as like a hyper, too much hops. There's always a bunch of these beers that are IPAs. It's just just throw a bunch of hops at them and it'll make it taste better. It's not really, doesn't really work that way. But there are ways to kind of saturate and put a huge density of hops in there without getting too chalky, too dense, too kind of pellety, too green. Now, I can't tell you if it's green or not. We're 3 weeks out, at least on the nose, I can't tell you, but it really does come off. This is a big, huge, aggressive dry hop beer. Hot pellet green, a bit of weedy green, a big kind of under-ripened kind of fruitiness, leaning more tropical mango under-ripenedness on it, with obvious citrus tones floating in there, but everything doesn't come off super sweet in here. It doesn't have this crazy hints at the beer being a huge under-attenuated sweet bomb. Curious. Let's just dive in. Cheers. That's delicious. That is delicious. Straight up. In a specific way. This is hair on fire stuff, is what this is. There's more than one way to make a really good hazy. You can take the route of a little bit more of a... How do I want to phrase this? What kind of analogy do I want to rip out of the old tool belt here? So there's a lot of different ways to make a really, really good beer. And conversely, there's a lot of really, really good ways to make really good hazies within that kind of subsect. And, you can do one that's really, really kind of soft and gentle but bright. You can do one that is kind of just big and juicy but not overly aggressive and comes off straight like juicy juice. A bunch of different ways to do it. This is the 2x4 to the face, that proverbial 2x4 to the face. That's what this beer is. No, it's not a 2x4 to the face. That's a bad way to put. Okay, remember, let's date. All the people that are in the hazies don't know this, but I'll do it anyway. So there used to be a fantastically great show called American Gladiators, and they had these Q-tip things that they would battle each other and hit people with, and contestants and stuff. It's that to the face. So it's a big, huge impact, but it's not going to break your nose. It's just going to overcome your whole senses. In the sense that it's not overly sweet. It's a IPA. It's a 7% super hazy IPA. It is sweet, but it's not under attenuated, crazy, sickly sweet. Cloying, I believe, is the word a lot of people use there. The mouthfeel is nice. It's not super duper dense, but it lends itself to being quite a bit drinkable. in a way that I think if it was a bit more denser, I think this beer would just be too much. Like, oh, gotta trudge through this thing. The fruit is there. You know, you're getting your citrus, you're getting your tropical fruit, a little bit sweeter than I thought it was going to be based off of the nose, but at the same time, it's not like sickly sweet like I was talking about. Then we get to the green portion of the show here. Weedy green, weed pulling green, and hop pellet green. That is by far and away the biggest portion of the show here. And it's aggressive. There's a bit of hop burn in the tongue. There's a big green component from all aspects. From a little bit of ranky-dank. From, actually probably is a decent ranky-dank, but because there's so much green going on, it kind of loses itself in there. To a little bit of grass, to a little bit of pulling weed, a little bit of smoking weed, a little hop pellet green. In a way, I kind of enjoy it. And that's what I mean when I talk about hair on fire here. This is not like a faint of heart hazy IPA. I can see a lot of people drinking this going, oh man, that's just too aggressive. But there's something about this. I don't want to make the kind of junk food kind of analogy, the fast food analogy, where, you know, sometimes a double quarter pounder with cheese is about the most delicious thing you can eat, just because sometimes you just want that. It's kind of like that, but I think it's a little bit more elevated beyond that. It's just not just viscerally knee-jerk kind of like, this is good. There's something cool in the mayhem here. There's something very tasty and very fun about what's going on here, but I think it's very purposeful. And I think it's very much intended. I mean, those are the same thing. I like it. Is it by accident? I don't know. This is my first Fidens beer. But there's a lot of beers that toe the line of what this beer is doing that gets a little bit too on one side of the line that I'm like, this is just a hot mess. It's just a hot mess of hops and craziness that is way too aggressive. This is that one that toes the line but doesn't go that far. And I think that is really, really cool. Now, you're talking about 3 weeks. Drink it 2 weeks ago. Who knows? Maybe it is that hair on fire in a bad way kind of beer. But the way it's drinking now, what I like in a big old rip-roaring hazy, it's kind of delivering in a very, very fun and delicious way. That's awesome. That's delicious. Thank you very much, Corey, for sending this off. I have one more from these guys to do. It's a double IPA. And I'm kind of curious, really curious. I'm not going to do that probably at least for a day or two. So I'll kind of get stewing on that mentally. But yeah, this is fantastic. Is this one of the better hazy IPAs that I've had as of late? Yes, Mount Rushmore status easily. I'd almost want to subsect this. I think it is Mount Rushmore status across the board, but it is really one of the better kind of hair on fire, let's just, pedal to the metal, roller coaster kind of hazies that I've had as like for a very long time. It's just, I could see someone not liking this, but if you like that, sometimes you just want that just mayhem, you'll dig this. Value and availability, no idea. I mean, it's Fidens. People wait in line for this brewery, so that's a thing that still happens, I guess. No idea on the pricing, so Corey or anybody else in the Fidens universe, let me know what's what, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like hair on fire hazies that are made really well. There's a distinction there, like I said earlier. There's hair on fire in a bad way, in a very, very bad way. There's a lot of that going around. This is one of the good ones. If you like hair on fire, hazy IPA, American Gladiator, Q-tip to the face, you're going to like this. There you go. Review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Let me know if you've had this, please. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying one of these jams right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.